Love and hip hop. Atlanta is no stranger to chaos, but this latest storm has fans clutching their pearls. Whispers are spreading like wildfire. And if you've been anywhere near the ATL gossip mill, you've heard the name on everyone's lips. Kirk Frost. Yes, the same Kirk who has survived countless scandals alongside Rashida is now being dragged into an explosive feud with none other than Kendra Robinson, Young Jock's outspoken wife. Sources claim that Kendra has hinted Kirk has been hiding more than the world ever knew. Multiple affairs buried in his past, and even the shocking possibility of a secret baby that never made it onto the cameras. What makes this even more intense are the murmurs that Kirk allegedly tried to clap back in the dirtiest way possible, threatening to leak private videos of Kendra if she didn't keep quiet. Fans are shocked. Rashida's name is once again caught in the crossfire, and the Love and Hip Hop cast is said to be buzzing behind the scenes. Was this just another case of reality TV smoke and mirrors, or is Kirk Frost sitting on secrets that could blow the franchise wide open? Stay tuned, because this drama is only getting started. Atlantanites have always carried a certain energy, but nothing prepared the city for the whispers that suddenly began to swirl around Kirk Frost and Kendra Robinson. At first, it seemed like ordinary chatter, the kind of background noise that always follows love and hip-hop stars. But then the tone shifted. People close to the cast began to claim that Kendra had dropped subtle but piercing comments about Kirk, hiding affairs from his past, and even something far darker, a secret baby that had never come to light. The very idea sent waves across the fan base because Kirk already carried a history of messy entanglements, and now to hear that another layer might exist set off alarms everywhere. Kendra's words were not shouted from rooftops. They were delivered with a calm certainty that made them land even harder, as if she knew exactly what she was doing by letting the hints escape in the way she did. Those who were present when the remarks were made said the room shifted instantly. Friends and associates leaned in closer, phones came out, and texts began to fly in all directions. Fans later wrote that their timelines were flooded within minutes, because once you mention Kirk Frost, affairs, and the phrase secret baby in the same breath, it is impossible for the story to stay contained. What made it sting even more was the fact that Kendra has often been seen as measured and calculating, a woman who does not waste words. So if she was speaking on Kirk in such a direct way, then it meant there was a story behind her words. People described the mood as tense, as though the walls themselves were holding their breath, waiting for the fallout. Rashida, who has long stood by Kirk through scandal after scandal, was said to be blindsided. Those close to her claimed she was furious that Kendra would stir old wounds and reopen questions that Rashida had tried so hard to close. One source whispered that Rashida confronted Kirk late at night in their home, her voice shaking as she asked him directly whether Kendra was telling the truth. Kirk, defensive as ever, denied everything. But the denial was delivered with that familiar tone, the same one fans remembered from past confrontations, the tone that seemed to carry more panic than certainty. By morning, insiders insisted the household was icy, with Rashida demanding clarity and Kirk pacing the floor, his phone buzzing nonstop. What really poured gasoline on the fire were the claims that Kirk had not only denied the allegations, but turned his frustration directly onto Kendra. Whispers spread that Kirk allegedly told people behind the scenes he had the power to silence her if he wanted to, and the phrase that kept echoing was that he threatened to leak personal videos of her if she continued to put his name in her mouth. Once that tidbit leaked to fans, the internet erupted. People were outraged, calling it manipulative, calling it dangerous, and above all, calling it a classic Kirk move. Social media was flooded with fans saying they were not surprised, that this was exactly the type of power play he would attempt when cornered. The tension extended beyond just the households of Joke and Kirk. Other cast members found themselves dragged into the storm, asked to take sides, or at least to comment on the mess. Some tried to stay neutral, reminding everyone that reality television thrives on conflict, but others could not resist throwing in their opinions. One castmate allegedly said that Kendra had every right to speak up, because too often the women on the show carry the weight of secrets while the men walk away unscathed. Another suggested that Kirk was simply terrified that someone outside his marriage was finally bold enough to put his hidden history on blast. Fans seized on those reactions, demanding that the cameras capture the fallout for the upcoming season. As the story unfolded, fans debated whether this was a genuine revelation from Kendra or a carefully timed move to shake the table and redirect attention. Some argued that she had nothing to gain by dragging Kirk unless there was truth behind her words. Others pointed out that she has often lived in the shadow of Jock's chaos, and perhaps this was her moment to step into the spotlight by aligning herself against one of the franchise's most infamous figures. Whatever the motive, the effect was undeniable. Blogs lit up, Instagram pages posted clips and commentary, and fans dissected every frame of Kendra's past appearances, searching for hints that she had been holding back information about Kirk all along. What gave the whispers even more weight was the way Kendra carried herself in the days that followed. She did not issue long explanations. She did not scramble to clarify. Instead, she moved with quiet confidence, showing up at events, smiling for cameras, and letting the rumors swirl unchecked. This only fueled speculation because fans felt that her silence was confirmation. If she truly had lied, wouldn't she have rushed to put the story to rest? Instead, her refusal to backtrack was read as a signal that she had receipts, that she was prepared to stand by her words no matter how loud Kirk's denials became. Meanwhile, Jock was caught in an impossible position. On one hand, he wanted to protect his wife and stand by her. On the other hand, Kirk was a longtime friend and business associate. Sources close to Jock claimed he was torn, pacing around his home, frustrated that he had been dragged into another scandal that wasn't directly his fault. Fans imagined the heated conversations that must have played out behind closed doors, with Jock pleading with Kendra to let the situation die down, while also trying to reassure her that he supported her. The tension reportedly spilled over into arguments late at night, voices raised, accusations thrown, and doors slammed as the couple wrestled with the weight of the storm that Kendra's words had unleashed. But it was the public's reaction that truly set the tone. Fans flooded social media with outrage, memes, and disbelief. Comments ranged from calling Kirk a manipulator to calling Kendra a fearless queen, who finally dared to expose what many believed had been true all along. Hashtags trended, debates erupted on Twitter Spaces, and podcasts dedicated whole episodes to dissecting the feud. Fans speculated about the identity of the alleged secret baby, with wild theories spreading about hidden children, secret affairs, and cover-ups that stretched back years. None of these claims could be verified, but in the world of reality TV, perception often matters more than proof. And right now, perception was running wild. The entire city of Atlanta seemed to be buzzing, with hair salons, barbershops, and late-night diners echoing with heated debates over whether Kendra was brave or reckless. Some insisted she had crossed a line by dragging another couple's past into the spotlight, while others argued that Kirk deserved every ounce of scrutiny he received, given his long history of questionable behavior. Whatever side people fell on, one thing was clear. The drama had reignited old wounds and set the stage for confrontations that promised to be some of the most explosive the franchise had ever seen. The firestorm surrounding Kirk Frost and Kendra Robinson only grew hotter as days turned into weeks. What began as whispers quickly morphed into a headline-grabbing spectacle, leaving the cast of Love and Hip Hop reeling from the fallout. The streets of Atlanta were buzzing louder than ever, and every conversation seemed to circle back to one question. Why would Kendra risk so much by pointing the finger at Kirk, a man already notorious for surviving scandal after scandal? The way the story spread, people started to believe there had to be some truth hiding beneath the drama. Otherwise, Kendra wouldn't have dared to put herself on the line. Behind the scenes, insiders painted a vivid picture of growing tension. Kirk was described as furious, pacing through his studio late at night, slamming doors and making heated phone calls. Associates claimed he muttered under his breath about Kendra's nerve, insisting she had crossed a line by dragging his name into her narrative. At the same time, whispers floated that he told one close friend that if Kendra wanted to play with fire, he would play back, hinting again at those alleged personal videos he supposedly had access to. Though no one had ever seen them, the mere suggestion sent shockwaves through the fan base. It raised the stakes, turning the feud into something darker, something that felt less like a war of words and more like a looming threat that could explode at any moment. Rashida, as always, was thrust unwillingly into the center of the storm. People close to her said she was exhausted, frustrated that her marriage was once again dragged under the microscope. She had spent years repairing her image after Kirk's well-documented missteps, and now Kendra's claims felt like reopening a wound she was determined to heal. One friend of hers revealed that she broke down in tears one night, telling Kirk she was tired of constantly defending their relationship. She reportedly shouted at him, asking if there was anything else she needed to know before another woman went public. Kirk's response was the same as always, denials layered with anger, but the cracks in their household were undeniable. Kendra, meanwhile, stood firm. People who encountered her in courtrooms and real estate offices described her as calm and collected, as though nothing out of the ordinary was happening. But those close to her insisted that behind closed doors, she was weighed down by the chaos. Late-night conversations with Jock reportedly turned into shouting matches, with Jock urging her to stop fanning the flames. Jock is said to have warned her that Kirk was dangerous when cornered, not in a violent way, but in a manipulative way that could twist narratives and tarnish reputations. Jock begged her to step back, reminding her that once you become the target of Kirk's pushback, the backlash from both the show and the fan base could be brutal. Still, Kendra didn't back down. One night at a private gathering, she was overheard saying that she had been silent for too long and that the hypocrisy of Kirk's image needed to be challenged. She reportedly leaned across a table and told a friend that men like Kirk thrive because people are too scared to speak up. According to the witness, her voice shook with emotion as she added that she was tired of watching women carry secrets while men walked around unscathed. Whether those were the exact words or not, the sentiment resonated with fans once it made its way to blogs. Suddenly, Kendra was being hailed as a bold truth-teller, a woman unafraid to disrupt the status quo even if it meant putting her own peace at risk. The fan reaction only amplified the drama. Comment sections exploded with heated debates. Some people praised Kendra for refusing to be silent, saying she was holding Kirk accountable in ways even Rashida never fully had. Others accused her of chasing clout, claiming she was weaponizing Kirk's past to boost her own profile. What united everyone was the fascination. Love and hip-hop thrives on chaos, and this feud had all the ingredients of a legendary storyline. Hashtags trended nightly, with memes showing Kendra facing off against Kirk in imaginary courtroom battles, while others joked that VH1 producers were probably scrambling to get cameras rolling. As the storm grew, rumors began to swirl about the alleged secret baby. Some fans theorized it was a child hidden before Kirk's marriage to Rashida. Others speculated it came from an affair during the marriage that had somehow never been revealed on camera. Conspiracy theories took on a life of their own, with entire threads dedicated to uncovering clues, comparing old footage, and dissecting every moment when Kirk avoided certain questions. No evidence ever surfaced, but in the court of public opinion, suspicion was enough to keep the fire burning. Within the Frost household, the atmosphere grew unbearable. Reports claimed Kirk and Rashida fought constantly, with Rashida demanding transparency and Kirk lashing out about being unfairly targeted. One insider even described a chilling scene where Kirk stormed out of their home after a heated argument, slamming the door so hard that framed photos rattled on the walls. Rashida, left behind, allegedly confided in a close friend that she didn't know how much longer she could endure the cycle of humiliation. Fans speculated that Kendra's words had done more than stir up gossip. They had triggered a new wave of distrust that could permanently fracture the Frost marriage. Meanwhile, Jock found himself in an impossible position. The feud between his wife and his longtime friend threatened to drag him down the middle. Friends said Jock confided in his radio co-hosts that he felt like he was drowning. On air, he laughed and joked as always, but behind the scenes, he was desperate to keep peace. In his home, while not completely alienating Kirk, insiders revealed Jock told Kirk directly that he needed to stop with the threats, warning him that if he actually leaked anything, it would destroy not only Kendra, but Kirk himself. Kirk allegedly brushed it off, saying Jock was overreacting, but the tension between the two men was palpable. The drama didn't just affect the main players. Other cast members started to whisper about picking sides. Some reportedly supported Kendra, privately praising her courage while carefully avoiding saying anything public. Others rolled their eyes, insisting it was just another ploy to stay relevant. The producers, of course, were delighted. Word spread that cameras had been scrambled into place to capture the tension, hoping to turn the feud into a season-defining storyline. One producer was overheard calling it ratings gold, a comment that infuriated those who felt the situation was too personal to be exploited for entertainment. But in the world of love and hip-hop, personal pain and public drama are often the same thing. Kendra's quiet confidence continued to fuel speculation. She didn't address Kirk directly again, but she posted cryptic captions on social media that fans devoured. One post featured her looking poised in a courtroom outfit with the words, "Truth always wins," written underneath. Fans flooded the comments, connecting the dots back to Kirk. Another post showed her laughing with friends at dinner, and fans interpreted it as a signal that she wasn't intimidated by Kirk's threats. Every image, every caption, every glance was analyzed as if it carried hidden meaning. And Kendra seemed fully aware of the attention, allowing the speculation to grow while never confirming or denying anything outright. The whispers about Kirk's alleged plan to leak videos refused to die down. People debated whether he really had such material, or if it was an empty threat designed to scare Kendra into silence. Some said he had bragged before about keeping insurance on people, while others dismissed it as bluster. Still, the possibility hung over the feud like a shadow, darkening every new development. Fans imagined what might happen if Kirk actually followed through, speculating about lawsuits, public outrage, and the potential implosion of the Frost Empire. The mere idea kept people glued to the story, unwilling to look away from the car crash of emotions playing out in real time. As the feud stretched on, one thing became clear. This was no passing storm. Kendra's decision to speak up had opened a door that could not easily be closed. Whether or not her claims were rooted in truth, the perception was powerful enough to reshape how fans viewed Kirk, Rashida, and even Jock. The stage was set for confrontations that promised to shake love and hip-hop to its core, with friendships tested, marriages strained, and reputations hanging by a thread. The situation refused to cool down, and by the time the dust should have settled, it only grew, thicker, clouding every corner of the Atlanta scene. Kirk Frost walked into events with his chin held high, but those who watched him closely said his smile was forced, and his eyes darted around the room as if searching for whispers he could not silence. Kendra Robinson, on the other hand, appeared, unbothered in public, her composure fueling speculation that she had more to reveal if pushed further. The air between them was heavy with tension, and everyone who knew both parties could feel the storm pressing in from every direction. It wasn't long before the rumors spilled directly onto the set of Love and Hip Hop. During a group filming session, witnesses claimed the tension boiled over into a shouting match that left producers scrambling to control the chaos. Sources described the scene vividly. Kendra, standing tall and firm, confronted Kirk with piercing words that cut through the room. "You know what you did," she allegedly declared, her voice shaking only slightly, but loud enough to draw the attention of everyone present. Kirk, red-faced, fired back, accusing her of chasing attention and dragging his name for clout. The other cast members froze in shock, their eyes darting back and forth like spectators at a tennis match. Fans would later hear about the confrontation through leaked tidbits on gossip blogs, each one painting the moment as one of the most dramatic scenes in recent memory. Rashida, caught in the middle yet again, tried to intervene. She reportedly begged both sides to lower their voices, her tone filled with desperation. Friends of the couple said Rashida's heart broke as she realized that no matter what she did, her husband's name was once again cemented in scandal. When Kendra's words echoed about the alleged secret baby, Rashida's face was said to crumble, tears streaming down as she demanded Kirk to tell her the truth once and for all. Kirk's denial came swiftly, but the pain in Rashida's eyes told its own story. Whether she believed him or not remained unclear, but those who were present whispered that her silence afterwards spoke volumes. Jock, watching the chaos unfold, was torn in two. His wife was on one side, his longtime friend on the other. He reportedly stepped forward, raising his hands in a futile attempt to calm the storm, only to be drowned out by the roar of emotions, crashing in the room. "This is too much," he supposedly muttered under his breath, his frustration boiling as the cameras captured every word. Fans who later heard whispers of Jock's reaction debated whether he was protecting Kendra, protecting Kirk, or simply trying to protect himself from being dragged into a feud that had spiraled far beyond his control. The fallout from that night spread like wildfire. Fans demanded to see the footage, and speculation mounted that producers were holding on to gold. On social media, people debated every angle. Was Kendra brave for standing up to Kirk, or reckless for tearing open old wounds? Was Kirk guilty of hiding more than he admitted? Or was he being unfairly targeted by a woman tired of living in silence? Hashtags once again trended, with memes and parodies flooding timelines, each one adding fuel to the already blazing fire. The drama was no longer confined to private whispers. It had become a public spectacle with millions watching and waiting for the next twist. And the twists came quickly. Days later, a mysterious post appeared online, an anonymous account claiming to have receipts of Kirk's alleged affairs. The post contained blurred screenshots of messages, hotel bookings, and vague references to secret meetings. While the authenticity was never confirmed, the timing was explosive. Fans immediately connected the dots, claiming that this was the evidence Kendra had hinted at. Whether she was behind the leaks or not, her name was instantly tied to the scandal. The internet erupted with speculation that Kirk's house of cards was finally collapsing, that the truth was clawing its way into the light despite his denials. Kirk responded the only way he knew how, through anger. Insiders said he stormed onto a radio interview, raising his voice and calling the rumors lies, trash, and desperate attempts to tarnish his name. But his defensiveness only fueled the narrative, making fans believe he had something to hide. Callers into the radio show openly questioned him, demanding clarity about the alleged secret baby. Kirk dodged and weaved, repeating that people would believe anything on the internet. But the damage was done. The more he denied, the more fans suspected there was something buried deep. Rashida, trying to maintain her composure, focused on her businesses, posting smiling photos at her shops and restaurants. Yet the comments under every post were brutal, filled with questions about Kirk and whether she would stand by him again. Some fans expressed sympathy, saying she deserved peace, while others criticized her for enabling him, claiming she was turning a blind eye to humiliation. The pressure on Rashida grew unbearable, and one insider whispered that she confided to a friend that she felt like her entire life was a public trial she could never escape. She wanted to be strong, but each headline cut her deeper. Each rumor chipped away at her resolve. Kendra, meanwhile, played the role of silent storm. She refused to address Kirk directly again, but her presence alone spoke volumes. At an event, she walked in wearing a sleek black dress, her head held high, ignoring the whispers that followed her every move. Fans who saw her that night claimed she radiated power, as if she knew she had shaken the foundation of the franchise and wasn't afraid of the fallout. Her silence became louder than words, and every time she posted a cryptic message or simply smiled for the cameras, the speculation doubled. The tension between Jock and Kendra grew as well. Friends close to the couple whispered that their home had turned into a battlefield of emotions. Jock reportedly told Kendra she was playing a dangerous game, one that could backfire on both of them. Kendra shot back that she wasn't afraid, that she was tired of men like Kirk controlling the narrative. Their arguments reportedly stretched late into the night, with slammed doors and icy silences, yet in public, they continued to appear united, leaving fans guessing whether their bond was stronger than the storm or quietly crumbling behind the scenes. Through all of this, fans couldn't stop speculating about the alleged secret baby. Some claimed they had spotted Kirk in neighborhoods he had no reason to visit. Others swore they knew people who had crossed paths with the supposed child. None of it was verified, but in the court of public opinion, the smoke was enough to assume fire. People dissected old episodes, pointing out moments when Kirk looked uncomfortable, when Rashida seemed unusually tense, when conversations seemed to shift abruptly. Everything became evidence, and the more fans searched, the more convinced they became that the truth was out there, waiting to be revealed. By now, the feud wasn't just a storyline. It was a saga gripping fans around the world. Atlanta buzzed with whispers. Gossip pages thrived on every scrap of rumor. And the cast of Love and Hip Hop found themselves walking on eggshells, terrified of becoming collateral damage. Kirk's reputation hung in the balance. Rashida's patience wore thin. Jock's loyalty was tested, and Kendra's determination showed no signs of fading. Every glance, every post, every word spoken in public felt like another piece of a puzzle that fans were desperate to complete. The storm was no longer on the horizon. It was here, tearing through friendships, marriages, and reputations with no end in sight. The storm between Kendra Robinson and Kirk Frost had reached a point where no one could pretend it was just gossip anymore. Every headline, every post, every whispered conversation in Atlanta carried their names, and fans were glued to the unfolding saga like it was the climax of a soap opera. The Love and Hip Hop cameras were already rolling, capturing every tense glance and heated word, but the drama had spilled far beyond the show. Kirk and Rashida's marriage, which had already endured countless scandals, now stood on the edge of another collapse, while Jock and Kendra wrestled with the weight of a feud that refused to die down. The pressure on Kirk grew unbearable. People close to him described him as restless, unable to sleep, pacing through his home with his phone in hand. He called friends late into the night, venting about how unfair the situation was. "I didn't do nothing," he allegedly insisted over and over, but his friends could hear the strain in his voice. The whispers about a secret baby gnawed at him, not just because of the public backlash, but because it triggered painful memories of his past mistakes, the ones Rashida had barely forgiven. He knew that even if there was no hidden child, the suspicion alone could wreck what little peace they had built back in their household. Rashida was caught in an impossible place once again. Sources claimed she broke down to her mother during a phone call, saying she felt cursed to live in a cycle of betrayal and humiliation. "Every time I try to move forward, something drags me back," she reportedly confessed. Fans saw her smiling on social media, promoting her boutiques and restaurants, but those close to her said the smile was a mask. The constant questioning under her posts, the endless stream of fans asking about Kirk's alleged secrets, wore her down. She wanted to believe her husband, but deep down she feared that Kendra's words carried weight, and the uncertainty was destroying her. Meanwhile, Kendra faced her own battles. While she appeared strong and composed in public, friends whispered that the toll of the drama was heavy. She knew she had stirred something powerful, and though she refused to back down, she confided to a close ally that she sometimes lay awake at night, wondering if Kirk would really go through with his alleged threat to leak personal videos. The thought of such a betrayal filled her with anger, but also with fear, not just for her reputation, but for the ripple effect it would have on her family, her career, and her marriage. Still, she told herself she could not be intimidated. "If I let him scare me into silence," she allegedly told a friend, then he wins, and every woman who's been through this loses. Jock was the most visibly torn of them all. The radio host and reality star was known for his humor and charm, but those who knew him said his energy had dimmed. On air, he kept the jokes coming, but off air, he was worn down, caught between loyalty to his wife and loyalty to his longtime friend. Insiders claimed he pleaded with Kirk privately, begging him to stop escalating the situation. "You're gonna ruin everything," he reportedly warned. "Not just for you, but for me, for Rash, for everybody." Kirk, defensive and frustrated, brushed him off, insisting he had to protect his name. Jock left the conversation furious, muttering to friends that Kirk didn't understand the damage he was doing to everyone around him. The fan base, however, was thriving on the drama. Online debates raged day and night, with fans dissecting every post, every look, every word. Some praised Kendra as a fearless queen standing up to Kirk, while others accused her of dragging a married man to boost her own profile. Theories about the alleged secret baby multiplied, with names and timelines thrown around like puzzle pieces in a chaotic game. Bloggers hosted live streams analyzing old footage of Kirk and Rashida, pointing out supposed clues that now seemed suspicious in hindsight. The more Kirk denied, the more convinced the public became that he was hiding something. In the world of love and hip-hop, denial often sounded like confession. Then came the twist no one expected. A blogger claimed to have received a message from someone close to the situation, alleging that Kirk had already made quiet payments to keep certain women silent in the past. Though there was no proof, the story spread like wildfire, and fans seized on it as confirmation of everything Kendra had hinted at. Kirk's name trended again. Memes mocked him relentlessly, and the Frost family was once again under siege. Rashida reportedly screamed at Kirk in private, demanding to know if the rumors were true. Kirk swore they weren't, but the damage was already done. Trust, once broken, is hard to rebuild, and Rashida's silence afterward suggested the wound had cut deep. Through it all, Kendra kept her composure. She didn't gloat, she didn't issue long statements, but her silence was deafening. Each time she appeared in public, fans cheered her on, shouting words of support and encouragement. She became a symbol for many who felt that women too often bore the brunt of men's mistakes. Her refusal to back down made her a hero to some, even as critics accused her of stirring chaos for attention. Her name was everywhere, her face plastered across gossip blogs, her every move scrutinized. But she carried herself like someone who knew the storm would pass eventually, and she would still be standing when it did. As for Kirk, his alleged threat to leak videos lingered like a shadow. No videos ever surfaced, but the possibility alone was enough to haunt Kendra and fuel fan speculation. Some believed it was an empty bluff, a desperate attempt to silence her. Others whispered that he was holding on to them like a loaded weapon, waiting for the right moment to strike. The uncertainty was toxic, poisoning every interaction, every glance, every headline. The Frost family lived under its weight, and so did Jock and Kendra, caught in the crossfire of a feud that refused to die down. By now, the love and hip-hop producers had exactly what they wanted. The feud was guaranteed to dominate the season, and cameras captured every tear, every scream, every icy silence. Fans were promised explosive confrontations, shocking reveals, and emotional breakdowns. But behind the scenes, the real people involved were left to pick up the pieces of lives, fractured by suspicion and betrayal. Kirk clung to his denials. Rashida clung to her composure. Jock clung to his role as peacemaker. And Kendra clung to her determination not to be silenced. Atlanta was buzzing louder than ever, and the drama showed no signs of fading. Whether the truth about Kirk's alleged affairs and the secret baby would ever come out remained uncertain. But one thing was clear. The damage had already been done. Families were divided, friendships strained, and reputations shattered. And as the cameras rolled and the fans speculated, The saga of Kendra and Kirk became more than just another love and hip-hop storyline. It became a symbol of how quickly secrets, real or imagined, can tear lives apart when exposed to the glare of the public eye. And that's the chaos rocking Atlanta right now. Kirk Frost denying, Rashida hurting, Jug caught in the middle, and Kendra refusing to back down. Fans are left wondering, was Kendra simply stirring the pot, or is Kirk really hiding more than we ever knew? The whispers of affairs, the shock of a secret baby, and the shadow of leaked videos have turned this into one of the wildest love and hip-hop sagas yet. But what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments, hit that like button, and subscribe for more jaw-dropping drama, straight from ATL.